Yeehaw! Howdy everybody, it's Jonas Lamis.
And Kevin Klein. Howdy y'all.
And today we're going to talk about some really interesting research that serves as the foundation of much of the work that we're doing today. Right? So Kevin has been a student of kind of the intersection of economics, social theory, and entrepreneurship, I think, over the last decade or so, right? And you have traveled the world almost looking at entrepreneurial models. What works, what doesn't work, why does it work? And a lot of the research that you've done and the writings that you're doing and the blogging that you've done, the classes that we teach and what we do at Tech Ranch sort of has matured out of thinking around a concept that you call enterprise teaming, right?
That's right.
So let's share with our audience what enterprise teaming means.
So as Jonas is mentioning, a lot of what I did was I surveyed 36 different economic development models around North and South America, including doing site visits. Everything from small Texas towns called Littlefield, Texas, all the way up to being in Santiago, Chile, and cities like that. The idea is I wanted to look at the historical models of what was working for entrepreneurship support. And then I wanted to look at where the world's going with what does the internet imply and social networking theory imply. And I came up with a concept I'm calling enterprise teaming, and then like a group of people who are doing enterprise teaming is called an enterprise tribe. The concept's this. So there's this law called Coase's law that says the cost of information determines the size of the firm. That is, if information is just doesn't cost very much at all, then you can actually build a successful business with maybe even one or two people in it. But the key insight into that is it doesn't take a lot of cash to get a business going if you can lower the cost of information. So I was looking at that concept in early 2003, and I was looking for a way is how can we help more entrepreneurs become successful? And I went off the deep end and studying some of the theory. Guys like Yochai Binkler and Fernando Flores and a number of economists and thought leaders, world thought leaders. What I found was this. I looked at what are the dynamics behind open source. Why is it that open source software is so powerful? How is it that we can have an operating system like Linux be so powerful where it's actually competitive with Windows from Microsoft? The open source in itself is very interesting. The concept behind it that comes from a book by the name of The Wealth of Networks is this notion of commons-based peer production. Peer production in that you and I are peers. I don't work for you, you don't work for me. We're working together on this commons area. And commons, what does commons-based mean? It means in Britain, in years of old, we'd have this piece of land. If Jonas was a farmer and I was a farmer, we'd have this piece of land that we'd share where on Tuesdays he could let his cattle out onto the land and they could graze and become, be well fed. And then on, say, Thursdays, I would actually have my cattle and be able to put onto the land. Because we had this land between the two of us in common, we were able to actually be more successful. Jonas's farming business would be more successful. My farming business would be more successful. We had to take care of the commons. But because we had that, we could actually go much farther with our businesses, our farms in that example, than ever before. The thing I started looking at is how could we use commons-based peer production and apply it towards entrepreneurship? And that's where the notion of enterprise teaming comes. Like we're teaming up with each other, but it's an enterprise, and I mean it in the way that enterprise, the word historically, has always been used. It's about business. You're more enterprising, I'm more enterprising. How is it we tie that together?
So how does the role of a common community center for entrepreneurs play into this?
Yeah, so in thinking about the Tech Ranch and thinking about some of the things that we're doing online, especially with Bootstrap Austin here in Austin, the notion of the commons is an intention commons. That is, I have an attention, he has an attention. Paying, what are you paying attention to is the essential thing there.
I don't have very good attention.
But as an example, in your business's history, 5 minutes of his time is extremely valuable. At the right time, at the right place. 5 minutes of Jonas's insight in your business is extremely valuable, or in my business would be extremely valuable. The thing that we have to figure out is how can we get people to pay attention to what's happening in the comments,
right?
And then find the right time, right place. So you find it here at the Tech Ranch in the physical space of, we bring together groups of people who share insight at the right time, at the right place. And then online, both with Tech Ranch Cedar Park as well as Bootstrap Austin, you'll see that people say, hey, I have the following need. And then someone else will be able to respond to say, oh, wait, the insight that you need, at least that person thinks that you need, is go look here. Here's the accountant that you're looking for. Here's the insight about the law that you're asking about. Here's the technology you might be interested in finding.
Right. So for our audience, folks who are in Central Texas who can come to Austin, certainly coming to Tech Ranch, hanging out with us, discover what this is all about, participate in our many programs would be a great way to, one, learn about the notion of an enterprise tribe, participate in enterprise teaming, right? And take advantage of common space, peer production.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, one of the things that, open invite to those that are hearing us talk about this is our campfires are set up like this. We have a structured networking event inside of the campfire meetings, which are every other Friday or so. Part of what we're trying to do in that event is drive down the cost of, building someone's business, and so you actually see it there. So if you want to have an experience of it, come into one of our campfires.
And what about for folks outside of who can't physically get here? Where should we direct them online?
We've done a lot of stuff both with bootstrapaustin.org as well as there's a technology-focused enterprise tribe that is building up around techranchaustin.com, our website. But bootstrapaustin.org, as well as techranchaustin.com.
I think also on your blog there's a lot of...
Certainly around my blog, kevincoyne.com, you'll find... I'm discussing how these are being applied and drawing upon both strategy from what we'll see happening in the military to philosophical models of what's happening here, as well as economic models. If you're into the science behind this, to see what the theory is, you can certainly find it. I discuss that actively on my blog.
Great. All right, folks. Well, we'll see you real soon on another installment from Jonas and Kevin here at Tech Ranch.
Thank you.